All right, today we are diving into something pretty intense. We're going to break down some material from human behavior expert Chase HUGHES on how you can use military-grade psychological techniques, yep, the same kind they use in intelligence operations, to essentially brainwash yourself for better health.
So let's just get right to it with the big question on this slide. Can you really do this? Can you actually brainwash yourself to be healthy? According to HUGHES, the answer is a resounding yes. But it all starts with understanding who or what you're really trying to talk to.
Okay, so first things first, we got to understand what's actually going on inside our own heads. Because deep down, behind all of our behaviors, there's this constant tug of war happening between two very different minds.
So you've got two parts of you, right? On one side, you've got the logical human brain. That's the part that makes New Year's resolutions and buys salad ingredients. But the one really running the show, that's the instinctual animal brain. Think of it as the ancient mammalian part of you that's pulling all the strings. It controls your breathing, your heartbeat, and yep, all your deepest, most stubborn habits. So if you want to make a real change, you can't just reason with the human, you have to convince the animal.
So how in the world do you get that animal brain to actually listen? Well, HUGHES gives us a toolkit for that, and it's called the FER model. It's a framework specifically designed to break old patterns and basically grab that instinctual part of you by the shoulders and make it pay attention. The FER model is a 4-step process. Pretty simple to remember: focus, emotion, agitation, and repetition. So let's break down what each of these really means and how you can actually use them.
First up, focus. Look, your animal brain loves running on autopilot. It thrives on routine. But the second something is different, the second something is unexpected, bam, it snaps to attention. HUGHES uses this really stark example from his intelligence work. When they bring in a detainee, they immediately disrupt their whole reality. They change their clothes, their haircut, everything. It's all designed to manufacture intense focus. For us, it means deliberately changing little things in our day to tell our brain, hey, pay attention, things are different now.
Next up is emotion. And this isn't about, feeling sentimental. It's about creating a powerful gut-level connection to the change you're making. And this works in two ways. The first is through what HUGHES calls self-deprivation, which is really just disciplined discomfort. Taking a cold shower, waking up 30 minutes earlier. Every time you do something like that, it's like a little piece of evidence you're showing your animal brain that says, see, I'm in charge now.
And then there's the flip side of emotion, which is all about positivity. It's about building a real relationship with your future self. I mean, think about it. Most of us don't really feel connected to the person we'll be in 20 or 30 years, right? So the technique here is fascinating. You use an aging app, take a selfie, and make yourself look old. And you put that picture everywhere, on the fridge, the mirror, your phone. It sounds a little weird, I know, but it creates this constant visual reminder that forces you to start taking care of that person today. And that brings us to the last two parts: agitation and repetition. This is where you really make it stick. By consistently repeating these new, slightly disruptive, emotionally charged actions, you're basically installing new software for your animal brain. You're making it the new normal. So fear is how you kind of shake things up and get your brain's attention. But now what? Once you've got it listening, how do you steer the ship? Well, that's where the second framework comes in, the FATE model.
Fate gives you 4 big levers you can pull. First is focus. That's consciously choosing where you point your attention. Next, you have authority. This one's huge. Who are you letting make you feel good or bad? You gotta curate that. As HUGHES puts it, if you wouldn't invite someone into your house, why would you invite them into your head? Then there's your tribe, the people you're watching, the people you're emulating. And finally, emotion, which is about consciously writing the emotional scripts your brain runs on autopilot.
All right, so we've got the big picture frameworks down. Now let's get into some really cool, high-impact tools you can start using right away to speed this whole thing up.
First up is something called dopamine mapping. Dopamine isn't just about pleasure. It's what drives you. It's your motivation fuel. And this technique, it forces you to be brutally honest about where you're getting that fuel from. You literally map out your good sources versus your bad sources.
And here's the genius of it. You give yourself 100 points for the day. That's it. And you have to assign them. So when you look at a chart like this and you see, whoa, 35 of my points are coming from this one bad habit, it's a real wake-up call, right? It's no longer this vague thing you do. It's a number. You can see it. It makes it real. And that's what makes this so powerful. It's not about feeling guilty. The real question becomes, okay, I see these 35 points. Where am I going to reinvest them?
How do I take that energy and point it towards something that actually helps that future self I've got on my fridge? Okay, couple more really powerful tools here. First, digital vision boards. Put hundreds of pictures of your goals on digital photo frames and just let them run 24/7. The whole point is to make your goals just normal. Like, of course that's going to happen. And the second one, it's a little more out there. Strategic suggestibility. Interrogation studies show that when we're a little bit tired or hungry, our brains become way more suggestible. So you can actually leverage this by planning, coaching, or self-hypnosis for those times to make the new programming stick better.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds great, maybe a little intense, but does it actually work in the real world? Well, these exact principles were put to the ultimate test when Chase Hughes himself faced a massive personal health crisis.
So a few years back, Chase gets this devastating diagnosis: temporal lobe epilepsy, a degenerative brain disease. He was having seizures and the memory loss was severe. We're talking on the way to the hospital for the birth of his child. He looked at his wife and had no idea who she was, just gone. The doctors offered drugs where a main side effect was seizures. So he refused, built his own protocol using these very principles, and get this, within 24 hours, the seizures stopped. Completely. And they never came back.
And this quote right here, this sums up the entire shift that made that possible. I am in charge of my health, not the doctor. It's about taking radical, absolute ownership of your own outcome.
And really, that's what this all boils down to. It brings us to the absolute bedrock of this whole system. All these techniques, all these frameworks, they don't work without a fundamental shift in how you see the world.
So here's maybe the biggest secret of all. It is way easier to change your core worldview than it is to change your identity. Think about it. If your basic belief is losing weight is impossible for me, then yeah, every single choice is going to be a fight. But if you can change that underlying belief first, the identity change just happens. It becomes natural.
And this is it. This is the foundational worldview you want to install. I am fully in control. Things are going to be okay. Now, this doesn't mean you know exactly how things will turn out. Not at all. It means you trust yourself. You trust that because you are at the helm, you can handle whatever comes. And that lets you operate with this incredible, calm enjoyment, even when everything feels totally uncertain.
So let's wrap this up with a challenge for you, right now. This isn't about some massive life overhaul tomorrow. It's about sending one single powerful signal. What is one small, deliberate discomfort you are going to choose today to prove to your animal brain that you are the one calling the shots?